Hey guys, welcome to the guide. Today we are talking about the gun rights argument, which is the biggest, hottest topic everywhere. Because, like, well, shootings keep happening. And, yeah, pretty much. We're at that stage of society. Alright, great. We're at the let's just start killing each other, fuck it, stage of society. So, yeah, the gun right argument. So yeah, guns. They're tools. That's what we humans do. We build tools. We create tools that help us manipulate and dominate our environment. That's pretty much what we do. And I often wonder, like, which was more important, the size of our brains or the actual thing that we had, like hands, and hands that could like manipulate our environment? Like, what drove which? I personally think our hands are more important than our brains, because I think our hands are the things that like gave us the ability to manipulate our environment, to create things, which made our brain get bigger. That because then our brain had to become more creative. So I actually think our hands were more important in our evolution than our brain was, because our hands were the things that allowed us to manipulate our environment and like create stuff, so that drove our brain to evolve and become more creative to keep up with the hands. So I honestly think our hands were more important in our evolution, if the evolution theory is correct, than our brain was. But that's just a personal theory on that one. I mean, look at the elephant. I mean, it's got the trunk. Like, the elephant's one of the smartest animals in the animal kingdom, right? It has a memory way better that surpasses our own memory. And it has the trunk, which it uses to manipulate its environment and like create tools, create stuff. I mean, very, very primitive tools, but still, it has the trunk, and it's one of the smartest animals on Earth, and it has an appendage that helps it manipulate its environment to its will. So yeah, I think having an appendage that helps you manipulate the environment to your will, like, pretty much forces your brain to develop creatively and evolve. I think that's my personal theory on it. I think having something like that is more important than having a big brain. Because if you have a big brain but you're stuck in a body that like you can't manipulate your environment, then that big brain doesn't do you any good. Same with like chimpanzees and gorillas and all that, you know. So yeah, back to the original topic of this video, which is the gun rights arguments. Sorry, I needed to kill like 2 minutes to make this video fit in of this video clip. All right, what? Anyways, back to the car, or the original argument. So yeah, guns, they're tools, just like cars are tools. I mean, I can use the car argument against guns, because, like, you know, pro-gun people always point this out. That, like, cars kill way more people in the United States in car accidents than guns do. But at the same time, if I sit there and I'm being like, I'm taking your car rights away from you, you're going to look back at me and be like, fuck you, no you're not. Like, everybody is just... You're not going to take anybody's car rights away from them. Even though cars kill way more people than guns do in the United States. And that's mainly because everybody is familiar with cars. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat or if you're one of those in-betweener independents who doesn't want to pick a side because both sides are wrong. Everybody's familiar with a car. They're familiar with the intended purpose of a car. And the intended purpose of a car is to get you from point A to point B. That's the intended purpose of a car. Now, the fact that like cars kill way more people than guns in the United States on a yearly basis, that can get looked over, because the socially accepted intended purpose of a car is to get you from point A to point B, while the socially accepted intended purpose of a gun is a bit muddy. Like, I mean, you got the hunter argument. Yeah, well, I need guns to go hunting. We're far enough developed in society that we got, like, slaughterhouses that pump cows full of steroids, and they got that stomach thing where, like, the guy can reach inside the cow's stomach to find out what the cow's been eating, or if the cow's been eating or not. So we have, like, you know, industrial-sized slaughterhouses, pretty much. So we don't really need to go hunting anymore, per se. Except for like the whole development of the male psyche, because that's how we males are. Is like we need to know that in an oh shit situation we can handle ourselves, which is part of the problem, if you ask me. And hunting is one of those ways of like being able to prove ourselves to ourselves. It really is. Like, so That's part of like the male development, which females do not understand at all. But they think it's hot as hell for some reason. Yeah, yeah. Like if you ever get a chick who's like yelling at you for being a hunter, on the inside she's like, "Oh my god, that's so hot!" Like it's happened to me before, where I was just like, I got like lectured by this chick, right? And she was like, "Ah, yeah, you're a horrible hunter," and then turned it out she had a crush on me, and I was like, "Really? God damn it! Why'd you yell at me?" Anyways, guns are a part of like American culture, which is part of the reason they're having such a big problem getting rid of them. Because like you go back to like the Wild West days, the frontiers days. What the guy have? He always had a gun on him, right? Like it's part of like our romanticized culture. Like you go back, you got the Wild West with the guys with the 6 shooters, and then even farther back when the frontiersmen were still a thing, you got had the guy with the musket. It's part of our culture. It's part of our like who we are is being the gun-toting hillbilly rednecks of America. That's part of who we are, and that's part of the reason they're having such a hard time getting rid of them. Like I personally want to keep my gun rights. I still have my gun rights even though I went to jail. I still have them, so I'm not worried about that. That's not a big issue. But at the same time, like that's part of the pushback is because part of our identity as a nation is with guns. Like you go to Europe, they got rid of guns so easily because part of their identity as like nations was swords. They romanticized like swords and spears and like the medieval era. So like if you go over to Europe and you try to take their swords away from them, that's not happening. But like guns weren't that big of an issue to them. They kind of like they romanticized the medieval era, the Renaissance when like swords were a thing. That's what they romanticized. We in America, we romanticize guns. That's what we do. And that's why it's you can't really get rid of guns in America because they've been romanticized so much. They're seen part of our culture. They're like we can't get rid of. They're part of our history. So what do we do with guns then? Well, we used to, like back in the 50s when the Republicans were still in charge of the education system, we like educated people on guns. Like in schools, like people would like they could take a gun course in school, right? They would go the class. I think they used like BB guns. It wasn't real guns, but it was BB guns. It was like a class that like told them how to shoot a gun, educated them on the gun. What's the intended purpose of the gun, which is like hunting, self-defense, having fun, just fucking around, um, not shooting up a fucking school. Like we used to educate people on a gun, and that's part of the problem now. Is like guns in a lot of society are shunned. Like Democrats tend to shun guns because of like all the shootings that have happened. But at the same time, they're the ones in fucking charge of the media, and they're the ones whenever a shooting happens, jumps all over the damn thing because they get a bigger paycheck for it. So, like, I really think that's like we just should start educating them again. Like, and the part of the thing is like, okay, you get a new gun, right? You've been saving up for a couple months. You buy yourself this new AR-15. It's fucking awesome. What do you want to do? You want to shoot the damn thing, right? Like that's all you want to do. You don't want to just stare at it and fondle it and play with it. You want to shoot the damn thing. And like there's not a lot of gun ranges around, especially if you live in the city. Where do you go? Like the nearest gun range to me in the city is like an hour drive away. It's a pain in the ass to get there. And then you get there and there's like so many rules because they're afraid they're going to get sued, and like you have to do just this, that. You got to be perfect with it. Everything's got to be just so. And it's all because they're afraid to get sued because, we live in a sue-happy nation. So, like, you go to the gun range and, like, well, that was anticlimactic. Like, what'd you do? Oh, I stood, like, 20 feet away from a piece of paper and shot at it, Ooh, wow, that was awesome. Like, why do you think I go around and shoot milk jugs? Because you get a nice little explosion. It makes it look awesome, all right? You get like some positive feedback. Like shooting at a piece of paper is kind of like, eh. So yeah, that's what I think we should do. Like start educating people about guns again, and like stop shunning them so much, especially in like schools and shit, because it's not working. What we're doing is not working. Sitting there shunning guns and being like, guns are evil, blah, 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 blah. It's obviously not working. And I mean, you can't take guns away from this society. That's the unfortunate part. That's what we romanticize about. Okay, that's part of our history is guns. So like, you take that away, then like, what are we left with? We got nothing. Like we don't got like fast sports cars. Well, we kind of do, but not really. We've gotten rid of the private airplane industry for the most part, so we don't got that no more. Yeah, Americans, that's what we got. We got guns, guys. We got fucking guns. And my nephew, my little bastard nephew's stuck in this predicament, right? Because I took him out airsofting, and he's like good at it. He's good at it. He has my instincts, pretty much. He has my sneaky bastard instincts. And he's fucking good at it. Like, the kid could go special forces if he wants to. But, like, he goes back to school and he brags about it. And he's like, I went airsofting and blah, 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 blah. And he's like marked as the school shooter. He is an awkward as fuck kid, but, like, he gets picked on a lot because his goddamn mother, my goddamn fucking sister, who has fucking 10 or 11 kids, and he's the one that's got to watch after him. Also, all the rest of the kids fucking pick on him because he's the oldest, so he's got to watch after the kids. So like he gets picked on for this, and he finds something he's good at, which is gun related, and then he goes back and he brags about it and blah blah blah. He gets marked as the fucking school shooter. Bastard fucking kids nowadays. They have no idea what that kid puts up with. None. Alright, well thanks for watching.
Can you deal with that?